Okay, Andre, today I want to create a video to give people background about yourself and about how God brought you to where you are now, so that later on we'll do other videos that will offer updates about what God's doing and where you're going next. It's more like a history. We'll do it in little chunks and upload it part by part by part. So I want you to just tell the camera up here, talk to the camera. We give an outline we worked on last time. You just talk your way through the outline. Okay, go ahead. You were born where?
I was born in Wichita, Kansas,
Okay, when?
April 1st, 1975.
Okay, so you're how old?
I'm 37 years old.
Tell me about your childhood, your siblings, your parents. What about your childhood?
I grew up with my mother. She was a single mother. I have three other brothers and two other sisters. And we grew up. The neighborhood was pretty rough. It wasn't all that high class or classy. Bigger houses. It's more of an older neighborhood. Um, it was in the north side of Wichita, Kansas, and I went to a Roman Catholic school from third to fifth grade. But prior to that, I was in a public school. Tuition got high, and increased, and by the sixth grade, I was forced back into public schools. So after that, I began to live. The Bible wasn't no longer no required course in the schoolroom, and so it just became education. My church time wasn't all as active as I was going to the Roman Catholic Church. It was more than once a week, and that was a part of my education growing up at my younger age. And then high school came, and I went to high school. I graduated. I got a job, and been was working double time, overtime, and time and a half, and
What kind of job?
back then it was a warehouse. It was
Uh-huh.
forklift, yes.
All right.
And you know, I had a son, and had some got some more I got more things in life. Cars, and bought a home, and
You
things
did
like that.
you did pretty good.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
yes.
All right. Great. And then there's a time you had an accident. Tell me what was happening shortly before the accident.
Um, Shortly before the accident, I was working every day. Um, then I began to start working construction with another individual, and we were doing building homes, building houses.
Wow.
And I took a day off of work and went to go buy a truck so then I could you know start an increase with my business, and building houses. And so I got in a car wreck on that day.
Okay. When was that?
That was on November 14th, 2006.
Okay. Describe the accident briefly. What happened?
I was heading west through an intersection, and there's a main street, with signal lights. One lady, she was coming eastbound, and she decided to turn north as I was heading west, and I made the impact, and made the impact into her passenger door.
Uh-huh.
And if I wouldn't have had a airbag, I would have been out the windshield dead. And what I mean by that is that I was living in a world of sin. I would have went to hell. Because
Oh my.
I didn't have a relationship with God. I was praying then, but my life wasn't surrendered completely to Him. Um, God told me then that this was my wake up call, and that this is my second chance. It's time for me to get right with Him. So 6 months prior, after the accident, I was on medical leave. I couldn't go back to work. I was forced back into food stamps, and before I knew it, I was losing things. So 6 months down the line went, and I kept hearing from the Lord saying, "Come to me, come to me," but I was being hard headed, kind of like Jonah. And 6 months down the line came, I got evicted out of my home, and uh, and God put me out on the streets, and that's whenever I continued my medical treatment with by relocating to the state of Texas.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Good. So how did you get from there to how did you get from there to Texas? What was that? Was a peculiar
Oh,
story.
I got a ride with another individual, and we were going down, and he had the car, and well, the first day we got to Irving, Texas, I went inside a store to get a money order or a Western Union, and there's a wire transaction, and I come out and the police was arresting him. Come to find out, he had a warrant back in Kansas, so he was incarcerated for around 14 to 16 days, and so I was left off with his car. And that time I had a little money coming in from some family members and friends through the Western Union, and then um, that's what gave me monies to rent a motel. So I was thinking all this was gonna go by quick. I was gonna get an operation on my back because of the injury from my car wreck, and that I was gonna be back to work and everything. But come to find out, I'm still off work today. Um, I didn't get no more transactions through Western Union, so I was forced into the homeless shelter, and that's when I was allowed to stay there for free through a program at Salvation Army in Dallas, and start going to church, and I became a member of the Salvation Army Church. Um, this was in July of 2007. 3 of the days while I was in Texas, I went down to Houston for 3 days in that car, and using my friend's car, and then I came back up because that wasn't the place that I needed to be. Um, God brought me back up, and he got out of jail, and he left me in Arlington at another shelter, and he went back up to Kansas. So that was it felt like 10 years, but it was like 15 days of my life. It just felt like a long time because I was going through a lot and very rapidly. I had to think a
Right.
lot, think quick, and move at a quick speed.
So that's how God brought you to Dallas, and then you were in a shelter, and you were joining the Salvation Army. You were living there, and you're active with them, and so then how did you get active in ministry? How'd that happen?
I got active when I surrendered my life to the Lord on April of 2007. Before I came to Texas, um, I became a member of the church, of the Salvation Army Church, after I surrendered myself to the Lord. Uh, After I came to Texas, but I made that decision whenever God took away everything, like Job, and I was going through a lot, like Job, but it just depending on the Lord, and God was showing me and giving me numerous signs, and putting numerous people with confirming words from God, confirming the word from God that keep going, stay with the Lord. You have work to do, and not me just believing. I was believing the Lord, but God would also he delighted in me. He favored me, and he sent people in my path to give me that comfort. The Christians and believers, and that's where I'm at today. Some of them people I still talk to while I was on this walk and going through this little crisis, but I believe it was the will of God. It's what God wanted to build me to where I am today.
Okay, we're coming up on about 10 minutes. Let's stop here. That's your background. We're going to do another video about your general typical week in Dallas and elsewhere. Thanks so much.